Today, we are diving deep into a question that's hiding in plain sight. Where does money actually come from? And to figure it out, we're going to use Karl Marx's classic work, Capital, as our roadmap. I mean, seriously, think about it for a second. Why on earth can you trade a little piece of metal, or these days just a number on a screen, for an actual physical loaf of bread? It feels like a magic trick we all just accept. But you know what? It's not magic. It's a mechanism. And we're going to pull back the curtain and see exactly how it works. So our story starts with a really simple, kind of obvious problem. Marx called it the owner's dilemma. See, all the stuff for sale in a market, what he calls commodities, they're just things. They're inanimate objects. A coat can't just hop off the rack and trade itself for a pair of shoes, right? These things, they don't have a will, they don't have a voice, they have absolutely no power to trade themselves. As Marx said, they're without power of resistance against man. So for any kind of exchange to actually happen, someone else has to get involved. And this is where we come in, the human element. The owners of these things are the agents who bring these silent objects into the noisy, bustling world of the market. They act as the guardians, the representatives for their goods. This brings up a really crucial point. A trade isn't just swapping stuff. It's a social relationship. For me to trade my coat for your bread, we have to look at each other and recognize that we are the rightful owners. It's all built on consent. It's like an invisible contract that says, this is mine and that is yours, and we're only going to make a deal if we both agree to it. Okay, now we're getting to the real heart of it. Every single thing you can possibly buy has this kind of hidden, two-sided nature. And if you can wrap your head around this internal conflict, you'll understand exactly why we need money in the first place. So on the one hand, you've got use value. This is super straightforward. It's why you want a thing. A coat keeps you warm, bread fills you up. It's all about its physical qualities and what it can do for you. But then on the other hand, there's exchange value. This is way more abstract. It has nothing to do with what the coat does, but everything to do with what it's worth. How many loaves of bread can I get for this coat? That is its exchange value. And here's the twist. It's a bit of a mind bender. For the person selling that coat, its use value, its ability to keep someone warm, is totally irrelevant. As Marx puts it, his commodity possesses for himself no immediate use value, otherwise he would not bring it to the market. To the seller, that coat is just a container for exchange value. It's basically a tool to get something else that he actually wants to use. And because of this, everything for sale in a market is constantly trying to change hands. So if every single seller is just looking at their own products as a tool to get something else, what happens when you have an entire market full of people all trying to do the exact same thing? Well, you get a massive social puzzle. This creates a classic problem. Let's say the baker wants new shoes, but the shoemaker doesn't want his bread. And the shoemaker, he wants a warm coat, but the tailor doesn't want shoes. Everybody's stuck. Economists call this the double coincidence of wants, and it basically creates total gridlock. This is the huge puzzle that the market itself has to solve. How do you possibly connect all these individual wants and needs into a system that actually works? How does our poor tailor get his bread? Well, the solution wasn't invented by some genius sitting in a room. Marx argues that it just sort of happened, organically. People didn't design a system, they just kept trying to trade over and over. And through all those repeated, instinctive actions, a solution started to take shape, almost like it was a law of nature. And this brings us to the main event, the birth of money. Out of all this chaotic trading, the market itself is about to anoint a king. It's going to elevate one single commodity high above all the others. Think about it. Comparing every single good to every other single good is a complete nightmare. But what if everybody just started comparing their stuff to one single thing? The baker could price his bread in it, the shoemaker could price his shoes in it, the tailor could price his coat in it. And slowly but surely, the entire market starts to settle on one special commodity to do the job. This special commodity gets a fancy new name, the universal equivalent. It becomes the common language of value. Everything else in the market now expresses its worth in terms of this one thing. You can think of it like a universal mirror where all the other commodities can look and see their own value reflected back. And there it is. That's the big reveal. The one commodity that gets singled out by society to play this incredibly unique role is money. It's not money because a king said so. It's money because the social process of exchange itself demanded it. The tailor can now sell his coat for this money and then turn around and use that money to buy bread from the baker. The gridlock is finally broken. So money is born. But why did certain things, like gold and silver, get picked for this top job? And what kind of effect does money have on the way we see the world around us? Well, while the whole process is social, it isn't completely random. Turns out, the job of being the universal equivalent is pretty demanding, and some commodities just have a natural resume that makes them absolutely perfect for the position. Precious metals like gold and silver were just ideal candidates, and for really practical reasons. An ounce of gold is an ounce of gold no matter where you are. You can chop it up into tiny pieces or melt it all back together. Plus, it doesn't rot like bread or go out of style like a coat. It just has all the right physical stuff for the job. Okay, so once gold becomes money, our perception does a complete 180. We start to think, well, of course a coat is worth a certain amount of gold, because gold is money. It starts to feel like an obvious natural property of the metal itself. But this is the final and maybe the most important point of this entire process. Marx argues that we have it completely backwards. Gold doesn't have some special mystical power that makes it money. No, it's the other way around. Gold only became money because millions of people, over thousands and thousands of transactions, all started using it as the universal mirror value for their own stuff. Its power comes from society, not from the metal itself. And this is what Marx calls the magic of money. The real social relationships between the tailor and the baker and the shoemaker, they all just vanish. They get hidden behind this shiny metal object, which now seems to hold all the power all by itself. So, I'll leave you with this to think about. Is the money in your pocket really a magical object? Or is it just a tool that cleverly hides the vast, complicated web of human relationships that truly makes our world go round?